Born Sinner is the second studio album by American hip-hop recording artist J. Cole. The album was released on June 18, 2013 in the United States under Roc Nation and Columbia Records. It is the follow-up to his debut album, Cole World, The Sideline Story, which was released in 2011. The album features guest appearances from Miguel, Amber Coffman, Kendrick Lamar, TLC, James Fauntleroy, 50 Cent, Bas and Jhené Aiko. The album was also primarily produced by Cole himself, along with others such as Jake One, Syience, Christian Rich and Elite. The album was supported by 4 official singles: Power Trip, Crooked Smile, Forbidden Fruit, and She Knows, along with the promotional single Miss America. Upon its release, Born Sinner received generally positive reviews from music critics. The album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 chart, selling 297,000 copies in its first week of release. After 2 weeks of being at number 2, Born Sinner climbed to number 1 in its third week. As of September 19, 2013, the album has sold over 599,000 copies in the United States. Background: a week after releasing his gold-certified debut album Cole World, The Sideline Story, Cole began work on the album that would become Born Sinner. He said it allowed him to reinvigorate himself both mentally and creatively. October 24, 2011, during an interview with Hot 106, a unregistered trademark Rise and Grind morning show, Cole revealed he had begun working on his second studio album, with hopes of releasing it in June 2012. He had also stated that the album would consist of songs that failed to make his debut. "I'd only unregistered trademark T know how many, but I got songs that didn't unregistered trademark T make the last album that are automatically going to make this one." On February 24, 2012, J. Cole reached 2 million followers on Twitter. He celebrated by releasing the song Grew Up Fast. On March 1, 2012, J. Cole returned to his hometown, Fayetteville, North Carolina. To celebrate his return, he released the song Visions of Home, and launched an event titled Triumville Weekend to inspire the youth of his hometown to achieve great things. On July 26, he returned to Twitter after a 100-day absence and went on to reveal and release his new song The Cure, in where he hints at a new album. On October 20, he announced at a live show that his second album is complete and he's waiting until after Lamar releases Good Kid, M.A.A.D. City to reveal it, and previewed 2 new songs, Main on Fire, and Crooked Smile. However, they were not tied to any project. Main on Fire would end up appearing on a Funkmaster Flex mixtape. On November 5, Cole revealed the title of his second album, and an album teaser for it, Born Sinner, and the release date of January 28, 2013, via Ustream. With the title, he ended his basketball-themed series of projects. He would say, "It was just time for something new. I wouldn't have minded doing it again, but I felt that I closed that story. That metaphor and that storyline had really ended. Metaphorically, I was just a kid working to get on this basketball team, got cut that was the come-up, then the warm-up was like, all right, I made the team, I'm on the team, now what? I'm not in the game, I'll just ride the end of the bench. Then Friday Night Lights was like, come on man, you're still not gonna put me in the game? What I gotta do? Here, I'm gonna kill it in practice." Sideline Story was like, wow, I really am starting now, and I feel like I ended that chapter when it's all said and done. Plus, this new theme is really more reflective of where I'm at and where I've been at for the past 2 years, so it was just perfect to move on. Recording and production: on November 30, 2012, Cole said he feels the album will be better than his debut due to him being more free in creating this one. Most of the production will come from himself, and most guest producers and features will be kept under wraps until the album release comes closer. He went on to say the features will be minor and key to the album. The album's production was primarily handled by J. Cole himself. Also in November 2012, Cole stated that the album is 90% completed, including the writing and recording. Cole said he recorded 4 albums worth of material during the recording process for the album. Releasing Promotion, J. Cole announced a release date of January 28, 2013 along with the album name on November 9, 2012. In early January the album was included on multiple most anticipated albums of 2013 such as MTV and XXL magazine ranked Born Sinner the sixth most anticipated album of 2013. After describing the January release date as ambitious, he would announce on New Year's Day 2013 that the album would be coming out at a later date. On February 22, 2013 J. Cole said that the album should arrive around June 2013. He later would confirm a release month for June, and then on April 8, 2013 J. Cole announced via Twitter that the album would be released on June 25, 2013. Interesting enough, that date would have been the 17th year anniversary of the release of Jay-Z's debut album Reasonable Doubt. However, he announced on May 20, 2013 via his Twitter account that he would move the release up 1 week to June 18, 2013. He later revealed that he moved up the release date to coincide with the release of Kanye West's album Yeezus, saying instantly the light bulb turned on it got real. I was like, unregistered trademark the idea hit me instantly, you got to go to that date. Unregistered trademark I'm not going to sit here I work too hard to come a week later after Kanye West drops an amazing album. Unregistered trademark DB like, and J. Cole drop 2, a week later unregistered trademark nah. Unregistered trademark I'm going to go see him on that date. Hey unregistered trademark S the greatest. So unregistered trademark S like, unregistered trademark MA competitor by nature so it was instant. It wasn't unregistered trademark T even a thought on February 12, 2013 Cole released a free EP titled Truly Yours in promotion of the album. The EP consists of 5 songs in their raw form that he knew would not make the Q list for Born Sinner. Later on April 29, he announced that he would be releasing Truly Yours 2 the following day. The EP featured guest appearances by 2 Syience, Young Jeezy and Bas, with production from Kanye Finch, Jake One and J. Cole himself. Cole announced the deluxe version of the album will include an extra CD which will double as Truly Yours 3 and featuring 5 new songs. The track New York Times is the only song that features a rapper besides Cole, rapping on the entire album. The track features 50 Cent and Bas, which Cole originally wanted to have 50 and Nas on the song. J. Cole said there is a lot he wants to do that he didn't get to do on his last album because the label didn't know that he was gonna come out and have the #1 album in the country so this time he hopes the promotion effort is way bigger. He plans to shoot a short film to accompany the album as well as multiple music videos. In promotion of the album Cole released several Born Sinner vlogs. The first video spotlighted Cole's mother and her former job of working at the post office, and her retirement. The second video spotlighted friend and frequent collaborator Kendrick Lamar. In the video he discusses his earliest musical influences and his work ethic. On June 6, 2013 J. Cole held one-time listen sessions for the album in various places throughout North America. The following day the album leaked in full online via various peer-to-peer file-sharing websites. Rather than go into crisis mode and attempt to remove it from online, Cole put the album up for a limited-time free stream. Singles: the first promotional single from Born Sinner was Miss America, and which released on November 13, 2012. Cole said he pushed away pop accessibility in order to put out a single that provides social commentary. The song has been described by multiple outlets and Cole himself as not an ordinary first single and in no way directed towards radio. The song has peaked at number 34 on the Hot R&B hip-hop songs. On February 12, 2013, J. Cole announced that the first official single from the album would be released in the next week. 2 days later on February 14, he released the lead single, Power Trip, a collaboration with Miguel. The song was sent to Urban Contemporary Radio on February 19, 2013. The song has since peaked at number 19 on the US Billboard Hot 100. On April 9, 2013, the music video was released for Power Trip featuring Miguel. The second official single, Crooked Smile featuring R&B group TLC premiered on June 3, 2013. The song was made available on iTunes the following day. The song was sent to Rhythmic Contemporary Radio on June 18. It has since peaked at number 27 on the Billboard Hot 100. On September 18, 2013, the music video was released for Crooked Smile featuring TLC. Forbidden Fruit featuring rapper Kendrick Lamar was the last song recorded for the album, as it contained a reference to him dropping his album the same day as Kanye West, who also released Yeezus on June 18, 2013. It was reported by MTV in June 2013 that it would be the album's third single. Then on August 1, 2013 it was sent to Urban Contemporary Radio as Born Sinner's third single. The song has peaked at number 46 on the Billboard Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs. On October 29, 2013, She Knows featuring Amber Coffman, was serviced to Urban Contemporary Radio as the album's fourth official single. It officially impacted Rhythmic Contemporary Radio on November 19, 2013. The song has since peaked at number 90 on the Billboard Hot 100 on February 14, 2014. The music video was released for She Knows featuring Amber Coffman. Commercial performance: Born Sinner sold 297,000 copies in the United States in its first week of release, debuting at number 2 on the Billboard 200 chart, finishing approximately 30,000 copies short of Kanye West's Yeezus. In its second week the album sold 84,000 more copies. After 2 weeks of being at number 2, Born Sinner climbed to number 1 in its third week with 58,000 more copies sold. In its fourth week the album sold 39,000 more copies. On August 14, 2013, 2 months shortly after its release, Born Sinner was certified gold by the RIAA, for shipments and sales of 500,000 copies. As of September 19, 2013, the album has sold 599,000 copies in the United States. Critical response: upon its release, Born Sinner received generally positive reviews from music critics. At Metacritic, which assigns a normalized rating out of 100 to reviews from mainstream critics, the album received an average score of 71, which indicates generally favorable reviews, based on 21 reviews. Carl Anderson of Entertainment Weekly gave the album a bar, saying he's a talented, nimble rapper, but diatribes like Trouble and Land of the Snakes are more exhausting than impressive. The Jazz-Kissed Let Now's Down, a deeply personal tale about hearing that one of his rap idols hated his early single Workout, delivers far greater impact without all the high-minded posturing about love and death. Aaron Lowers of Exclaim gave the album a 9 out of 10, saying with the exception of 2 numbers, the self-produced 16-track project revels in Timbaland drumlins and soulful Kanye symphonies. However, the standout cut samples A Tribe Called Quest's Electric Relaxation, featuring the only other rapper on the album, Kendrick Lamar. Forbidden Fruit embodies a silent confidence, paying homage to a legendary group while speaking on releasing an album the same day as Kanye West, bringing Born Sinner full circle. Julia LeConte of Now gave the album 4 out of 5 stars, saying Born Sinner's production, Cole's own, is nuanced and varied on the whole. Looped harp, careful piano, electronic elements, boom-bap drums, choirs everywhere but all impeccably orchestrated. Gus Brown of the Los Angeles Times gave the album 2.5 stars out of 4, saying if the self-mythologizing of Yeezus is a little much for you, how about a rap album where the MC is bummed that he disappointed his hero? J. Cole's Born Sinner is at the other end of the universe from Kanye West's latest a quieter, self-examining rap record that's short on audacity but long on workman-like singles. Ben Sims of XXL gave the album an XL, saying Born Sinner's best moments are when he embraces the persona that initially garnered him praise. Power Trip, Crooked Smile, and Let Now's Down are the album unregistered trademark's strongest tracks, and they feel like the rapper who created the warm-up, which only becomes problematic at times because of Cole's insistence to produce almost all of his work. But while BS may not exhibit the growth sonically or conceptually that fans may have anticipated after hearing Cole's early work, he remains too gifted lyrically, too keen of a storyteller, and too emotionally open for his sophomore LP to be anything less than impressive, but not overly so. Corbin Goebel of Pitchfork Media gave the album 6.0 out of 10, saying at its best, Born Sinner showcases J. Cole's overall musicality, pairing his ability as a lyricist with a more broadly developed production palette. In a heat, he can rattle off some fierce rejoinders. But several releases deep into Cole's growing catalog, we haven't been delivered the savior that Jay-Z's A Star Is Born seemed to anoint. David Jeffries of AllMusic gave the album 4 out of 5 stars, saying it's snide, smart-ass stuff, and when it comes to sublime ridiculous balancing act that his heroes Jay-Z and Nas have mastered, Cole is a little short on the sublime side here to be considered classic. Still, Crooked Smile with special guests TLC is a genuine, mature step in the right direction and will have no trouble reaching vintage age. A handful of other numbers carry that same weight, making Born Sinner a daring step forward for Cole and an exciting attempt at mastering Jay's blueprint style. Ted Skaman of Slant magazine gave the album 4 out of 5 stars, saying here's the only real problem with Born Sinner, Cole's production work is elegant, but he's first and foremost a words guy, and when you're competing with the lushness of Kendrick Lamar or the preening, infectious weirdness of Kanye, playing it straight is probably not sexy enough. Born Sinner doesn't match the cohesive satisfactions of Good Kid, Mad City, though it boasts better writing. Francesca Desiorga of Pop Matters gave the album a 7 out of 10, saying for many, lyrically, Hey Euro Unregistered Trademark S better on a higher percentage of Born Sinner than Kendrick was on Good Kid, Mad City, but the album lacks the superb production and cohesiveness that makes GKMC stand out. Still, no one can say that J. Cole has failed to deliver on this album. Hey Euro Unregistered Trademark S certainly impressed with his flow, delivery and production, and while he hasn't a Euro Unregistered Trademark T released the next golden hip-hop album Hey Euro Unregistered Trademark S coming close. John Dolan of Rolling Stone gave the album 3.5 stars out of 5, saying sometimes I brag like Hov / sometimes I'm real like Pac. J. Cole raps on his second LP. Sometimes he's both a verbal powerhouse and a self-emptying truth-sayer. The flagship signee to Jay-Z's record label spins dervish rhymes over dazzling self-produced tracks. His riffs on racism, homophobia and misogyny have more lyrical cunning than insight. Have fun at the next company picnic, homie. Accolades. Closing out the year, Born Sinner was met with many accolades and was named to multiple Albums of the Year lists by major publications. It was nominated for Album of the Year at the 2013 BET Hip Hop Awards. Complex positioned it at number 13 on their list of the 50 best albums of 2013. They commented saying, "This year's Born Sinner was a shot at redemption for the 28-year-old rapper, and he came through in the clutch with a convincing balance of beats, rhymes, and life. He impressively shifts between impassioned storytelling, and sex-fiend fantasy, and a spiritual wisdom, all the while laying down a solid foundation for his mainstream exploits." Slant magazine ranked it at number 14 on their list of the best 25 albums of the year. They elaborated saying, "At the mic, he's a better raconteur than ever, complicating his stories with bits of misdirection that hit as hard as any of the disc's bass drops." And the second half of the album is in part a tribute to Cole's two main models, Nas and Tupac, down to conspicuous mid-90s sounding hooks from TLC and James Fauntleroy. Craft and community storytelling aside, the only other album of 2013 that boasts as many internal rhymes per minute is Eminem's. Associated Press ranked Born Sinner number 4 on their list of top 10 albums of 2013. They elaborated saying, "This year featured anticipated albums from Jay-Z, Kanye West and Drake, but J. Cole has the rap album of the year. Born Sinner, his sophomore release, is full of smart rhymes that forces the listener to think. He's a born winner." Pop Matters ranked it number 7 on their list of the best hip-hop albums of the year. They commented saying, "Eat a Euro Unregistered Trademark S easy to mistake J. Cole a Euro S on flashiness for dullness, and to see his reverence for past hip-hop legends, expressed throughout Born Sinner, for coattail riding. He do us a Euro Unregistered Trademark T make big, dramatic moves or carry a larger-than-life persona. Yet the unregistered trademark is exactly the charm of Born Sinner, an understated but thoughtful album from someone with a clear love for, and knowledge of, hip-hop. Rolling Stone ranked it number 7 on their list of 20 best hip-hop albums of 2013. They commented saying, "Releasing your major label rap record the same day as Kanye took balls. So did staying true to hip-hop's vaunted edutaining tradition with a set of hyper-smart, excellently self-produced tracks that recall, well, vintage Kanye and their ability to dramatize the tension between Hofsai's career ambition and post-Pac truth saying." XXL named it the 6th best album of 2013. They commented saying, "Colia unregistered trademark's second studio album should be at the top of every NA unregistered trademark's year-end list." Hip Hop DX named Born Sinner amongst their top 25 albums of 2013. The Source ranked it number 11 on their list of best 25 albums of year saying, "Sometimes J. Cole brags like Hov, sometimes Hey unregistered trademark's real life hack, sometimes he focuses on the flow to show the skills Hey unregistered trademark's got. Whatever he does it very well. And let's not forget his much improved production either." Cole cemented his spot as one of the new top dogs in the game by serving up his incredibly solid sophomore offering. Born Sinner earned Cole a Grammy Award nomination at the 56th Grammy Awards, for Best Rap Sung Collaboration for Power Trip with Miguel. Track listing, sample credits, Voluminati contains samples of Juicy, written by Christopher Wallace, Sean Combs, Jean-Claude Olivier, and James Mtume, as performed by the Notorious B.I.G. I Wish a remix, written as performed by R. Kelly. And People Every Day, written by Sylvester Stewart and Todd Thomas, as performed by Arrested Development. Land of the Snakes contains samples of Da Art of Storytelling, written by Andrew Copyright Benjamin, Antoine Patton, and David Shates, as performed by Outkast. Power Trip contains samples of No More, written as performed by Hubert Laws. She Knows contains samples of Bad Things, written by Ryan Matters and Madeline McKenna, as performed by Cults. Rich Niggas contains samples of Into Everything, written by Deborah Anderson, Michael Gifts, Fabrice Dumont, Star copyright Van Harry, and Christophe Ha copyright Tier, as performed by Tar copyright La copyright Pop Music. Forbidden Fruit contains samples of Mystic Brew, written as performed by Ronnie Foster. Chaining Day contains samples of Show Nuff, written by Terry Stubbs, John Wilson, and Charles Still, as performed by Sly, Slick and Wicked. Crooked Smile contains an uncredited sample of No One Gonna Love You as performed by Jennifer Hudson. Let Nas Down contains samples of Elite Feat. Baz, which samples Gentleman, written as performed by Fela Kuti. Miss America contains samples of Flightline, written by Brooke and Decker, as performed by Rue Royale. Is She Gone Pop contains samples of Chocolate Girl, written by Wayne Bell, as performed by The Whispers. Niggas Know contains samples So Tired, written by Willie Chambers and Andre Goodwin, as performed by the Chambers Brothers. And Notorious Thugs, written by Stephen Jordan, Sean Combs, Christopher Wallace, Stephen House, Byron McCain, and Anthony Henderson, as performed by the Notorious B.I.G. featuring Bone Thugs and Harmony. Personnel, credits adapted from AllMusic. Charts, certifications, release history, references.